Well, I got a bunch of stuff spread out here, looking towards the summer of fishing. Some freshwater things and some saltwater gear. Trying to get an idea of what might need to be refurbished or replaced before I hit the water. And I'm hoping maybe in terms of the freshwater idea this summer to go back to the Firesteel River or someplace like that in British Columbia, somewhere for some extremely good trout fishing. And I'm also hoping to get out on saltwater again and find some bonefish. Maybe back to Christmas Island or Los Roques or Belize. When I think about it, I'm a rather unlikely person to have evolved into a fly fisher, in that as I grew up I was steeped in almost every other kind of fishing except that. Grew up around Lake Michigan, a suburb of Chicago. Did a lot of perch fishing in nearby lakes as well as on Lake Michigan itself, sometimes going out on breakwater and using power lines and trolleys to bring in 3 and 4 perch at once. And it was a lot of fun. I used to have friends who'd get up at 4 in the morning with me to do that, and we sometimes would catch smelt when they would run on Lake Michigan in gill nets and dip nets. The whole family would go up to Minnesota and Canada at times and fish for walleyes and northerns and black bass, and we had a ball, but it was all spinning, bait casting, trolling, still fishing, everything except fly casting until I got into college, which was the first time I really had a chance to learn a bit about fly casting in an actual course. I got a Herter's tubular glass fly rod that actually was quite nice for its time. And I learned a bit about fly tying and fly casting, but it was a decade before I actually went out on the water, as things turned out, with that fly rod, when my wife and I went to Stark River, up at the Northwest Territories, tippy top, right off of Great Slave Lake, where they had some trophy Arctic grayling. And Josephine actually almost caught a world record on that trip. She got a special field and stream award for that fish. And we had a ball, and it really started us off on a series of fly fishing adventures, which have taken me to a lot of trout waters here in Northern California, like Hat Creek and Fall River, the McCloud. And I've caught some wonderful trout on those waters, but they often have PhDs. It's very tough fishing. Long, thin, tiny leaders and tiny flies, and it's hard work. I've had more luck in Alaska, where I've caught trout up to 6 pounds on a fly. And when I went to the Firesteel River just a couple years ago, we caught trout with such plenitude that I literally would catch a fish often every cast for 6 or 7 casts. And I just really had not run into that kind of luck before. It was almost too much trout. I actually began to feel that it would be more fun if it was a little tougher. And that's hard for me to say because I've had my days of being utterly skunked fishing.